When is the right time to sell stock or when to sell, right? Those are probably the two most common questions that I often get from individuals in a trade position. So in this video, I'm going to break down the best time in my opinion on when to sell your position. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Justin Fernillo from Push and Profit. I'm a full-time day trader and investor, and I make videos on trading in the stock market plus business or financial related topics. So if that's something that you're into or interested in, then consider subscribing to the channel, right? Welcome. Now, when it comes to when to sell your position, you have to ask yourself one question. What type of trade is this? Is this a day trade? Is this a swing trade? Or is this a long-term position in your portfolio? Now, the first step is, of course, answering that question, because what you do for each type of trade is going to be slightly different, right? For example, if you're buying a stock for your long-term portfolio, then in reality, your concern shouldn't be when is the best time to sell, because you're not really trading the stock, right? You're investing in it. And when you're investing, you're pretty much not selling for a while or even up until retirement, right? So even if the stock goes down in your long-term position, that's fine, because you could do something called dollar cost averaging, where you just continue adding and investing into that position even if it goes down. So if the stock goes down, you could just buy more into it and it will average out your price in that position. Now, for swing trading and day trading, the answer is going to be different, because you're actually trading the asset, meaning you're buying and selling more frequently versus investing where you just buy and hold. Now, a day trade is going to be something that you buy and sell in one day, and swing trading is going to be something that you buy and hold for a few days, maybe a few weeks, or even a few months. Now, of course, day trading and swing trading are different in the nature that the duration of time that you're going to be holding the stock or the tradable asset, but the principles on when to sell are going to be the same. Now, the best time to sell for a day trade and swing trade is at resistance or a break in trend. So I'm going to go into this a little deeper, right? A resistance is a price level where the price of an asset meets pressure on the way up by an abundance of sellers who wish to sell at that price. So for a day trade, you're looking at a small aggregation period and identifying the areas of resistance. And for a swing trade, you're looking at a larger aggregation period and searching for the resistance in that area, right? But what happens when the stock is at an all-time high, right? Well, you can't sell at resistance because there are no resistance identified, right? So what do? Well, you wait for a break in trend. So for a day trade, you're looking for a small time frame, right? And for a swing trade, you're simply just looking for a larger time frame. And I'm going to go over some examples. So let's take a look at Six Flags stock, right? But also, let's just kind of clear up the chart so we could just make things a lot more simple. Okay, much more clear, right? Without everything in a way. So let's take a look at what exactly is a resistance for a day trade. So we're looking at the 1 minute chart, and we just see these two little peaks and maybe a little third peak over here. Notice how when we go up, we just identify that there's a lot of selling pressure and the stock quickly goes back down, right? So as a trader, we want to wait for resistance, right? Which this is resistance, right? There's just resistance for it to break above this area. So we see it coming back up, and guess what? We're approaching the same area where there was just a lot of selling pressure, right? So then it sells off, and then it kind of just moves sideways, and you see kind of the same pattern over here, right? So this is what traders mean, or what I mean, when we talk about resistance, right? It's just buying and selling at the area of, selling pressure. So we see that happening multiple times throughout the day. So that would be an example of a day trade where you just take advantage of the day, and take advantage of selling at that selling pressure. But now let's take a look at Six Flags from a larger time frame. Right now, again, a larger time frame is what you're going to be using for swing trades, because swing trades are longer term plays, right? So we got to kind of just identify those areas of selling pressure again, but just in a larger time frame. So we're looking at the 1 hour chart for Six Flags, and we see that when we approach this area, there seems to be some sort of pressure, right? And we approach this area over here, pressure, 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 and pressure. So you would just simply identify those areas of resistance from these other areas, and from there, that's how you know when to sell for resistance, right? You'll want to buy at support, which again is the opposite of resistance, but we'll talk about that in another video.
And we basically, and that's not even as clean as I should make it, but you guys get the gist. So we see that there's just pressure on these areas. So if you buy in low, you're going to want to sell around this area of pressure, because look what happened. It automatically just dipped down back to this area, and now we're approaching another area of, pressure. So that's really what I mean by, you want to take your profits at resistance. You want to take your profits pretty much near the top. Okay, but what about when there is no resistance, right? For example, Neo stock, right? This whole year has pretty much been making up new highs, right? Where it's just all these times going up. Where's the resistance? We don't have previous history. We don't have previous patterns of when there's selling pressure. So you wait for the break in trend, and that's when you want to sell. So you could have seen that here, there was a break in trend. That's when you want to sell. Same as well as here. You want to kind of sell once that trend starts breaking down. But again, let me try to find you guys a better example. So here we're looking at PayPal, right? And PayPal is pretty much at an all-time high. Now, because it's at an all-time high, there's no previous resistance, right? There's no history of where the, resistance is at this top area, because this is just a new area. It's a new height. So in order to sell, right, or know when to sell, you want to make sure you find out that break in the pattern, right? So you're going to want to draw a trend line. So over here, let's just go ahead and map out a trend line and kind of just map that out. So you're going to want to hold on to your position as long as it's going up until it breaks this trend, right? So the minute it breaks this trend, that's when you want to sell, right? And the reason why you don't want to just sell at any random point is because it could continue going higher. So you see, you could have sold here and thinking you're selling at the top, but then it comes back down and bounces up. It never broke the trend. It's still riding the trend upwards, right? So again, you're gonna want to keep holding on in a swing trade or a day trade as it keeps riding up the trend. But once that trend is broken, that's when you're going to want to sell, and you're going to want to do it quickly just in case, it starts taking a quick dive.
Now, keep in mind, when I was talking about selling at resistance or selling at a break in trend, that's where you would sell your stock position if you are, making a profit, right? If you're up, that's when you want to lock in your profits so that obviously you can maximize what you get. Now, if your stock is actually going down, right, then of course selling is really just something that's up to you, where you want to cut your losses and mitigate your risk. Now, of course, everyone is going to be different when it comes to that area. For example, for day trading and swing trading, if I'm at a loss of sometimes maybe 1%, or 2%, that's when I cut my losses with stocks. Now, if I'm trading options, I give myself a little bit of room. But if you're investing, meaning you're doing a long-term play, and you're down 20%, again, it's really up to you. You can take the loss and sell at a loss, right? Or you could just dollar cost average, adding more into it. So at the end of the day, when it comes to selling at a loss, that's really up to you what your risk tolerance is at and what your game plan is. But as far as, selling for a profit, it's going to be at resistance or break in trend. So hopefully that, really does clarify some things for you guys and, just helps you guys out. I would really appreciate it if you guys don't mind just tapping that like button. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribe to the channel. I know I mentioned that probably, but, check out the channel, subscribe. And also consider checking out the links in the description below, because one of the links, or actually the first link, is going to be a link to my free Facebook group. And it's basically the Push and Profit Facebook group, where I'm building a community of individuals interested in trading in the stock market. So if that's something that's interesting to you, definitely check that out. I also typically upload a nightly watch list of stocks that offer a potential to make a profit. So yeah, another reason to join this group that I'm building. And also check out the other link in the description below, where if you sign up with the Webull link provided in that description and deposit $100, you'll be eligible to receive one free stock from Webull, and it's valued up to $1,600. There you go, free money. Actually, fun fact, when I first signed up with Webull, I got a free share of Google that was worth $1,200 at the time, and I even made a whole separate YouTube video talking about me getting that free share of Google. So who knows, you might be lucky and you might get a share of Google, you might get a share of like Tesla, who knows, right? At the end of the day, it's valued up to $1,600. So if you do get a free stock, let me know in the comment section down below what free stock you got. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, my name is Justin from Push and Profit. Hope you're having a beautiful day today, and take care. See you on the next video.